OP, because I won the 9th place game.
Oh, okay.
So I
survived.
Trey, you gotta get OP's mailing address because this bad boy is going to him. Woo! Yeah, buddy. We back again for episode 91. This is Cinco Squad. My name is Jonathan Sawyer, repping my Go Blue. This is championship week. With me and my brothers, TreyDay, Mike A, and Grandpa J. Fellas,
what's up?
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
New Year.
We're going into 2024 strong. How you guys doing today?
Jazzy.
Very, very good. It's the
there he
most.
goes.
There he goes. Yes,
There
yes.
he
I would
goes.
like
No words.
I would like to congratulate our back-to-back champion of the Cinco Squad League, Mr. TreyDay. TreyDay, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, you better thank Keenan Allen for being out.
I would like to thank my mama. I would like to thank the fantasy football guys. I would also like to thank Keenan Allen. You know, me and him go way back. I had him last year, and he helped me get the first championship. I put the call in the Keenan, told him, you know what? Go ahead, rest. Brandon Staley's gone. Herbert's gone. You don't need to go out here and take these reps. I would like to thank CMC. I would like to thank Lamar Jackson. I would like to thank the real Coach Harbaugh, not the Michigan Harbaugh, but the real Harbaugh for making sure Lamar – I said the real Harbaugh, the one who didn't have a camera on the sideline, for making sure Lamar, you know, stayed healthy this year. So, you know, we're going for 3. This is Shaq and Kobe year. We're going for 3. Trying to become the Boston Celtics, LA Lakers is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And congratulations to TreyDay. He's our back-to-back champion. And this year I did not finish in last. Who finished in last this year?
OP, because I won the 9th place game.
Oh, okay.
So
I survived.
Trey, you got to get OP's mailing address because this bad boy is going to him. Woo! Yes, sir. That's going to him.
Congratulations on you for your reigning champ, Mr. TreyDay, on repeating as the Cinco Squad fantasy football champion. He retains the crown after beating yours truly very soundly in the finals matchup. I made a pretty big boo-boo, but I'm not going to talk about that because his team would have outscored my team regardless of whether I didn't make that boo-boo or not. But want to congratulate him on putting together a great draft, and his players hit at the right time. He needed about roughly 40 to 50 points. He ended up getting 70 points from Christian McCaffrey, the real MVP. Lamar Jackson, the now new favorite MVP. And Justin Tucker scored like more points than most of the guys on my roster as his kicker. So congrats, TreyDay. Well done. Me, on the other hand, I moved up from 4th to 2nd. And you know I'm coming for that crown next year because there ain't going to be no three-peat in the Cinco Squad Fantasy Football League.
But as we wrap up this year-end show, we thought we'd put a little spin on it. We're going to have a fun show tonight. Talk college football playoff. And then we have our first ever Cinco Squad award show. Got five categories. We're going to go through each of us after we get through all the college football playoff talk. But I wanted to do one special shout out to everybody who has supported us throughout this whole entire year. 2023 was an amazing year. We have grown so much with our subscribers, followers, everything from, you know, thank my wife for Malin for helping us out with logos designs, the sign behind us, all the people that have allowed us to come to games and cover them. We really appreciate it. We're so excited for 2024 and appreciate everybody's support moving forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And of course,
listen up. It's never too early to get fresh. We got a promotion here. It's done with a group called Fans Idea. They make dope jerseys, just like this one you see right here. You can customize the jerseys, get your own type of logo, maybe do something for the family, for a family reunion. Just get fresh. They do jerseys, hats, T-shirts, shirts, whatever you need, they got it. That's where you need to go. But use that Cinco Squad link, Cinco Squad 10. It'll get you 10% off. So go ahead, click that link.
All right, crazy golf heads. ShankIt Golf. That's the place for all your gear. Cinco Squad, you got a 15% discount. That's 15%. I know you guys need some new gear coming up. You know there's always a reason to swag your bag out more. So head over to ShankIt Golf and get yourself something so you look fly in the golf course this winter. I mean, that's basically if you live in Florida. Or you got to fly down to Florida to play golf. So ShankIt Golf, get you all swagged out. Cinco Squad, 50% discount. That's 15% discount, Cinco Squad.
And of course, we're going to go right into what's on Mike's mind, our signature, who keeps killing it. Take it away, Mikey.
So we're in the midst of the heat of bowl season, going into the college football playoff and the championship and the New Year's Six bowls. We're all very excited, I know, for that, and we will get to talking about that in a moment. So I bring you a bowl fact.
Wow.
I know.
Let's go bowling.
Let's go bowling. It's not a bowling fact. It's a bowl fact. So I'm sorry for all you bowling fans out there, but I don't have a bowl. I can get
Did
one.
you know
Not
there was
this kind
10
of bowl, everybody. Not that one either.
No, there are 10 pins.
There
In a
are 10
standard-
pins or 1 gram.
Exactly. But in college football, back in the 50s was a wild, wild west time in college football where there are a lot of weird rules.
Mhm.
But there was one particular weird rule that applied to bowl games that I couldn't believe when I read it. In 1954, specifically, if you, as a college football program, played in a bowl game, any bowl game, you were then barred from playing in any bowl game in 1955.
What?
What?
If you if you played in, let's say you are any college football program, you play in a bowl game of any kind in the year 1954 or that season,
Mhm.
you could then not play in a single bowl game at all, no matter what the level of bowl game was in the 1955 season. No matter how you go undefeated, not allowed to play in a bowl game.
And the
In
reason
1955.
was?
Logic.
And the logic behind that was it was their attempt to make sure that pretty much every program got an opportunity to play in a bowl game at some point.
Oh,
So
so
they're just
But-
giving
Which
up
is what we
freaking-
do now. Because
no.
They set the tone for 70 years later.
Yeah, just now it's quantity instead
So
of
that-
quality.
So fuck 1950s college committee or whoever, because now the 2023 college committee was like, let's look at that year.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but if you think about it, back then you could still, obviously being as far back as it was, you could still be named national champion. They would name the national champion really before the bowl games,
Mhm.
or for the most part, the consensus national champion would be considered before the bowl games. So
Mhm.
you could go undefeated
Mhm.
and be the consensus national champion before the bowl games, but not be able to play in a bowl game.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Syracuse won the national title in 1959, but they got the choice to either play Texas in the Cotton Bowl or
Right.
which they chose.
Home
Right.
game for
But you
Texas.
could win either game. I think it was the Orange Bowl was the other one.
Beat
Right.
Hamley.
Right. But
Yeah,
they
Orange
could-
Bowl was the other one, correct.
Yeah, and they could have won either game, and they were considered to, like, if you choose the Orange Bowl, you're going to rout, I forget who the opponent would have been, but you're going to rout them.
I think it was
Or you could
Michigan.
take on Texas, the number 2 team in the country.
Mhm.
Either win or lose, you win the game. You
Right.
win the national title. So
Right, exactly.
that's funny.
So, yeah, that's one of the many insane rules that college football had back then. So that was,
Ooh, that's terrible.
but you know what's not insane ever? Those Jamie's locks of the week. Jay, take it away.
Well, welcome to another edition of Locks of the Week. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a rough week last week. And what I decided is I ain't doing 5 predictions anymore. However, I did 4. We were 1 for 3, but my man up north there in that Michigan yellow made a pretty good call on Lamar Jackson, who's now gone from plus 500 to you're not going to make money on your bet. You have to bet dollars to make sense now. So you should have listened to our guy, John, last week, because he called Lamar and told you guys he's probably going to win. And what that meant is he's probably going to win a big game on the road, which he did. Looks like if he beats Miami next week, he'll lock up that MVP award. Unless Tyreek goes off for 200 yards in that game, then it gets really interesting. But let's start there. Love that game next week. It's in Baltimore. They're hosting the Dolphins. This is for all the enchiladas.
Shit.
I believe the winner does pivot and take the number 1 seed or have control of their destiny to be the team that you have to go through in the AFC and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So it's going to be a really interesting one. I think for that fact, McDaniel's going to have his guys ready. They're not going to turn the ball over 5 times and give Baltimore so many opportunities to score in that game. I do believe it ends up being a low-scoring game. Miami's defense has gotten better, especially inside the red zone. They proved that last week against the Cowgirls. So I love the Fins at 3.5 right now. It's going to drop below 3.5. It's going to get it. It's probably going to be 2.5 by Saturday. So take it as soon as you can. Dolphins 3.5. Let's rewind a little bit now. In fact, we don't rewind. I think this is probably on Monday. One of these bowls on Saturday. I think the other one ends up being on Monday. And we're going to talk about that one, that being the Sugar Bowl. But love me the Citrus Bowl right now. I believe that Iowa showed their true colors already, and Tennessee can score the ball. Right now, Tennessee is only favored by 6. I love Tennessee. This is the only time you'll ever have me say those words in one sentence. I love Tennessee this week at -6. Take them all day long because Iowa does not know what to do with the ball when they have it on offense. It's almost like you just want to give it back. So it's like, let's try and score on defense. So take Tennessee at -6. And since I said I'm only doing 3, we're going to go into Monday where the Sugar Bowl sees probably what might be the best matchup of the entire weekend in all of football. And that is Texas versus Washington. I don't know why people keep doubting the Washington Huskies. Keep doubting them. They thrive off of this. Right now, you're getting 4 points if you take the Huskies. If they lose this game, it's because the Longhorns go down and drive and win on their final possession by a field goal. So I love the Huskies at +4. Take the points all day long. So here are your locks of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Take the Fins at 3.5 on the road because McDaniel will have these boys ready to play, and Lamar will turn the ball over at least once in this game, giving Miami a chance to get back in the game. Take the lead. Ultimately, I think the Ravens win, but it's not going to be by more than 3.5. Then the Citrus Bowl. Tennessee will make a mockery of the Iowa Hawkeyes. They will win by much more than a touchdown. Go ahead and take Tennessee at -6. And I love those Huskies. My boy MPJ, once again, going in as an underdog. They might walk out the victor, but I'll tell you one thing, they ain't losing by 4, so take them at +4. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your locks of the week, baby.
All right, Michigan, this is your time right here. This is our semis, 3rd year in a row in the semis. We got a tough opponent in Alabama, but we can take them. Yes, we. I'm saying we as a whole because the fans, the team, the coaches, the trainers, everything is in this game with you right now. People watching at home, people in the stadium. Doesn't matter. It's time to roll right now. 4 quarters, 2 games, and then you're the champs. Let's get it right now. Every play counts. JJ, no mistakes. Blake Corum, go off. Mike Sansell, take control of that defense. Get some key picks. Junior Colson, I want to see some sacks out of you. Let's get it, boys. It's game day. Let's go blue. Let's go blue. And I should have locked in that bet last week with the Lamar Jackson, even though we all know this is a QB award. So no matter what Tyreek could go off for 600 yards.
Don't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's
There's
still
a
gonna
great
be
debate this week on, I think at some point they said, Jeff Saturday said, that I think Dominique and him were having this like debate on First Take, and he said, we need to now redefine this as the most outstanding player so it gets away from being a quarterback award. And Jeff Saturday agreed and said he thinks really wholeheartedly the NFL will end up moving to this because you're going to have 3 candidates that should have won this year that aren't even quarterbacks. So I think we're finally going to see a shift happen, not this year or next year, but maybe by 2026.
Well, the more that you hear about people bitching about it, the more you're going to – I was in an argument today on a Facebook post about this and saying where they were saying Tua is the MVP, and I said, no, his teammate Tyreek is, or CMC should be, but I get what you're saying. And he said, no, and the guy kept going back and forth saying, no, he's definitely Tua's definitely MVP. Without Tua, they wouldn't be, and blah, blah, blah. But I agree. Like, they got to do something different because you're discrediting all the hard work of people that are busting their ass, like CMC, who carries that team. In my opinion, San Francisco wouldn't be a contender. Would it be a contender? They wouldn't be as of a contender without CMC, in my opinion.
I agree.
But we're talking about contenders, and we're talking about the college football playoff and the bowl games coming up here. So let's get right into it. We got my Michigan Wolverines taking on Alabama facing time
Alabama.
in the Rose Bowl, and then we have Texas playing Washington in the Sugar Bowl. I think this is like going to be the closest college football playoff, and this is the scary part about my Michigan team playing Alabama. But it's looking pretty nerve-wracking for me because Alabama, they get in this type of game. I never underestimate. It's kind of like Tom Izzo. Even though he skates into the NCAA tournament,
All right.
you never underestimate a Michigan State team or anything like that. So, Grandpa Jay, since you gave your thoughts on Texas Washington, let me hear your thoughts on Bama and Michigan.
What 1.5 points right now favoring Michigan? That's pretty much a pick 'em. So they're pretty much just saying, look, one of these teams probably comes down to the final possession. I do think that Michigan's defense will be prepared for this game. I think they've taken a lot of pride on playing for each other all year long, even though I think they really, and we said it already, it kind of made no sense that they were rallying around something that didn't really have too much substance behind it. But somehow the team cohesed and they figured that we're doing this for each other thing. We know that Harbaugh came up with the slogan bet, meaning bet against us, bet that, we were cheating and that's not really our identity. We're a great football team. So go ahead and bet. I feel that they are playing with a chip on their shoulder. Now here's the great thing that you could say as a Bama fan is that they're 38-1 in the last 3 seasons in the regular season, and they're 0-2 in the playoffs. They have more losses in the playoffs than in the regular season in the last 3 years, which is kind of incredible. This program is not getting enough credit for being 38-3 in the last 3 seasons. So they really need that win. I think third time's a charm. Go ahead and take Michigan over Bama to make their way into the national championship game. And I've loved Penix Jr. all year long. I love what I've seen from Washington. I think they're one of the grittiest teams. Somehow that defense finds a way to make a play, even though they look like they might be out of it. The offense has some of the best playmakers in college football. Even though I think Texas is a complete team, I think Washington has played in bigger games. Texas played their significant game so early in the season. I think Washington has been tested over and over again coming into the CFP. Give me Washington all day long. I think it's a Michigan-Washington CFP national title game.
I don't know why I see this, but I see there's something missing from Texas from having that it factor. It's like they lost it after, I think they lost to Kansas,
Oklahoma.
right?
They lost to Oklahoma.
Oh, no, Oklahoma. That's right. They just don't have that it factor right now. And I feel I agree with that. I think Washington has been the most complete team, out of the 4 next to Michigan, of course. Washington just consistently play good game after good game. Even in games that they've been down, they find a way to kind of grit themselves away from it. Like the Oregon game in the Pac-12 championship, they held control of that game the entire time. Oregon was always playing behind, it felt like. And you always get that feeling with a team. So I feel like Washington's Texas is going to have a tough time at the beginning because they haven't seen a quarterback like Michael Penix Jr. And he is elusive. He is everything that he was and should be, right? I forget who won the Heisman again. Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
He reminds me of Jaden Daniels a lot. Like his playing style, I thought it was a dead knock between those two. I thought we were going to have a tie at the Heisman because they were just both elite quarterbacks. So I will take Washington in that game. Nice. And, of course, my Michigan Wolverines, I'm going to take them. I didn't like how they started off against Ohio State. I loved how they started off against Iowa in the Big Ten championship. They started off very sluggish, made a lot of key mistakes against Ohio State that they can't make against Alabama because Jalen Milroe is playing with a lot of confidence after that Auburn game. A lot of confidence. And a lot of confidence after that Georgia win in the SEC title game. So you start making those mistakes on defense where you missed assignments, non-blitz packages, that's where Bama's going to kill you. So obviously I'm going to take my blue in that game, but they need to play 4 quarters. Just like I said in my rant, they got to play 4 quarters of football against Bama because Auburn showed it. They didn't play 4 quarters. They played 4 quarters in like 3 seconds and lost on the last-minute touchdown. So I'm going to take Michigan and Washington. I'm going to go with you, Jay. And, of course, go blue in the national title game. So, TreyDay.
Roll Tide.
I don't think that was any surprise.
Michigan. But no, in all seriousness, right now Alabama just looks like they have flipped the switch. in general and found something. And I know Alabama hasn't had the best success in the last couple college football playoffs, but it's just something about Nick Saban when you give him a couple extra weeks to just sit and prepare and figure out a game plan. He is a hard man to bet against. So I really do think Alabama's going to figure something out. I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. There'll be fans online complaining. I love a defensive game, so I think I'll enjoy it. But there'll be fans online complaining about, why is this game only 17-13? Oh, shit, another punt. It's going to be field position. It's going to be a lot of punts. It's going to come down to a couple turnovers. I think Ty is going to end up winning about 17-13. So I think it's going to be that type of a throwback in there. On the other end, contrary, I think Washington's going to win, but I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. So I think Washington's going to win something like 45-35 or something crazy. Of that sort, because I just don't see Texas stopping Penix. Washington defense, I think, will make a stop when they need to, but I do think they're going to get ran up and down that field for a lot of the game. And then at some point, the big play will happen, because that seems to be, whether you go back to the Oregon game, Washington, or any of the other big games they played SC this year, all the other, that is what Washington has done. They make the play when needed, but with those weapons Penix has outside, in my opinion, I know some people say it's the best receiving core, the second best receiving core in the nation out there in Washington. Yep, second best receiving core in the nation out there in Washington.
You know, Rome right up there with your boy. No lie, he matches him.
Who matches who?
Rome.
That's why he's top 5 pick? Yeah.
John, you got any popcorn?
Well, ain't no popcorn. Everybody knows. Everybody knows who's top 5 person.
What's he in pros? What's he in the pros?
You know who's going to be in the pros.
I say both of them be in the pros.
Both of them are going to be in the pros.
Yeah, I mean,
they're both. I'm saying, he's a lead receiver.
We know how this is going to go in the pros. We already got history here. We've seen this story play out before with a smaller version of the same route running monster out here. So you already know what Harris is going to do in the pros. Just make sure he gets to the right team.
I would say I don't think he's going to get Peyton Manning off the bat.
After your take here on your picks in this game, Trey, I got a question for you. So finish your take on the question. So what is your thoughts on Harrison coming back? I know you love it as a fan, and you love it as a fan.
I don't even know what's the story.
He's apparently practicing to play in the Cotton Bowl.
That's what some people say.
Because they're probably paying him 2.5 to do it.
I've read he's been on the bike at practice on the bike.
Yeah,
so,
maybe. I don't know. I just got before we went recording here. I just looked at TV and said Marvin Harrison shows up in practice in full pads, and I said, "Oh, okay. Well,
he's not coming back next year."
I wouldn't expect it, because here's the biggest thing with that, right? So they're saying they're willing. All the boosters are going to pay him what his first year with contract would be, right? Okay, that's just 1 year. He's guaranteed that at least 5 years in the NFL. Right.
So the more you prolong going there, the longer before you get the big bag. The first bag is the first contract. So yeah, I can go out here and give you $40 million to play and try to match that, but I'm only prolonging the $120 million contract by an extra year. So I don't see the incentive. I mean, what? Because he didn't beat Michigan? I mean, are you really going to come back just for the right to play
just
Michigan?
To beat Michigan?
Yeah.
You asked him that right after the game too, and obviously emotions are high. You're very anxious. You're very like, damn, I haven't.
Anything last year. He made the right move.
But at the end of the day, his dad's looking at him, his mom's looking at him, his agent's looking at him, saying, "Dude, you're a number 2 pick. You go out and get hurt next year, you're a second rounder at best."
No, and to be honest, if Ryan Day was doing the right thing, Ryan Day can't let him come back. If you're supposed to have the intention of the player, then I guess you do similar what your boy Boeheim did. Tell Carmelo you are.
I was about to say.
So if you have the intention, no, you don't need to come back.
You're leaving.
And Mikey's sitting down there with his big red jersey ready to put pads on. He's like, "Put me in, coach. I got a red jersey on right now. Let's go."
Sabotage them from within so that they look bad.
That's one thing no one knows about Boeheim, and everyone criticized him, but he's the one that told Melo, "Hey, you're not coming back here."
Right.
When he was like, "You're going to the NBA right now."
Big up to Melo, the parents in the gardens on Christmas Day, bigging up Mr. Brunson after his big win.
Great NBA basketball, by the way, on Christmas Day.
Oh my God,
amazing! I had it on the double box all day until the Eagles game.
Hey, Mikey. Trey, Luca heard you, man. You dropped that half C note on you.
About time. I'm happy.
He's one of my favorite players to watch. I'm calling him out because
he's leading the. What do you mean about time? He's leading the league in 30-point games this year.
It doesn't matter about the games; it's about the defense.
Defense.
That's what I said.
I want him to be better at defense. There's no excuse for him not to have a league MVP. This is a man who's supposed to retire with 3 or 4 league MVPs. If he doesn't, then it doesn't. The math ain't math.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I said last year. I know he's gonna get his points, but I want to see you play full basketball. Like at the end of the day, if you're not playing full basketball, that's why your team loses most of the time. You need your best player or someone to substitute him. That's what Clay did for Steph.
The guy owns the Suns even without his number 2 on the court. He just owns Phoenix. Period.
Well, Mike, take us away with your picks and what your thoughts are in this college football playoff.
Well, first, I gotta say, I love it when you guys let me go last, so I can collect all of you, form it into mine. So, to your point, I think, Trey, to your point, I agree that the Michigan-Bama game is going to be low scoring, and the Texas-Washington game is going to be high scoring, simply because we got Big Ten football versus SEC football, and then Pac-12 football versus Pac-12 football. It's going to be Big Ten soon, but versus Big 12 football. So I feel like, yeah, explosive on the Washington-Texas side, hard-nosed, gritty on the Michigan-Alabama side. I think, so Michigan-Alabama, I'll cover Michigan-Alabama first. I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think it's going to be a good game, a defensive game, as we said. And I think that's because I expect Michigan to be coming into this playoff playing as if they're Alabama and snuck into the 4 seed with a good end of the season. They're going to be playing gritty. They're going to be playing with that chip on their shoulder. They're going to be playing with a lot to prove, because even as the 1 seed, a lot of people, like with the whole cheating scandal and all that keeps coming up, it keeps coming up. And people are doubting them because of that they're not truly the number 1 seed level team. And I really think they are. They are that talented. They have those kinds of playmakers. And I'm not just saying that because there's a Michigan fan sitting right next to me, figuratively. I think Michigan's going to win this game. If I had to put a score on it, yeah, it's going to be like, I'll say 2017. I think it's going to be a close one. Because I think Bama's playing their best ball, and we always talk about how it's good to be playing your best ball going into the playoff. I don't doubt Michigan, but I also don't doubt Bama.
I'm hoping for like a 65-7 route by Michigan.
Oh, I'm sure you want to feel comfortable.
I can just chill and start drinking. We're getting ready for the 8 o'clock.
Now we're also undermining that this would only be the second time since the first one where an SEC team is not in the national championship game. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Trey's kind of giving the SEC its due respect here that they're going to keep that streak going, or he just doesn't.
I'm sorry, I'm not Paul Feig.
I don't know which one is which.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who it was.
At this point, Texas is already chanting SEC. So
yeah, you picked Washington though, so you picked an SEC.
I'm saying, but in their mind, they got 2 in.
Yeah.
So the Big Ten has also 2. This is
Big Ten.
Yeah, exactly. It's Big Ten versus SEC.
We don't really claim this here.
Right. Texas, Washington, I agree. High scoring game. I think this is going to be a back and forth shootout a la the Rams Chiefs Monday Night Football game. I'm going to take the Washington Huskies. Husk. Because you know who Michael Penix Jr. reminds me of besides Jaden Daniels? He reminds me of Max Duggan a little bit.
He reminds me of Steve McNair.
Yeah,
I could see. Is it the hair?
No, it's not. No, I think he reminds me of Penix. To me, is a Max Duggan attitude with Jaden Daniels' talent, and that's scary because not only does he have the talent to be that playmaker like Jaden Daniels is and make things happen, but he has the grit to him too that he's just not going to give up and he's going to fight through every play, and that's what's impressed me the most about him, and that's why I thought he should win the Heisman. Because he's as talented as Daniels and is that much. I mean, you look at his career at Indiana, the injuries he had to fight through to just be able to return to the field, let alone be on this stage. And I think that's eventually what gets Washington through this game. Texas is going to come out and play that Big 12 SEC tough Texas football, that Texas style football. Something that Washington, despite being battle tested this season, hasn't really seen in their opponents. But I think Penix is the guy that can get them to the promised land. Now.
What?
What?
He got that dog in it.
Literally. He has that
Yeah, he's a dog.
specifically
He does, though.
husky in him.
But
It's a
to,
husky.
to
The
Trey's
husky.
point, it does seem like he turns it. It's like he's playing at 60 or 70% throughout the whole game, and he's like, "All right, guys, I got you."
Right.
Yeah,
Boom,
Fourth quarter
100%.
present.
Switch
Boom,
flip.
100%.
Right.
I'm like, damn. Like in the Oregon game, I saw him. And he was just like, boom, boom. I was like, oh shit, it's 20-point lead. Okay,
Exactly.
all right. Well, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of good football on this weekend. The New Year's Six bowl games, they will matter next year, of course.
Are we predicting a champion too? Are we picking that right now?
Now we'll do that next week because next
Do it
week
next
got a
week.
show.
Once we have the matchup.
Okay.
Once we have the matchup, hopefully, I'm here for that show. Because if I have to watch another fucking year, miserableness. That shit was terrible for me.
Or died.
ALCS for the Yankees lost, swept. Michigan loses by a touchdown. Eagles lose. God damn.
Yeah,
Come on, 24. Be my year.
2022, 2023 was not John's year.
Rough.
It's a terrible year. I was emotional after both games.
Syracuse missed the tournament last year too. It's rough.
They haven't made the tournament in 3 years, so yeah. So
North Carolina.
well, let us know in the comments what you guys think, who your predictions are. We may go
Please do.
live at halftime of those games. We'll see how I feel during those games.
During
the first game, at least.
specifically the one.
Maybe Grandpa Jay and Mike and TreyDay will go live on that on Instagram.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everybody know I ain't never really been a big Russell Wilson fan. Russ ain't really deserve this. I think he's catching a raw break here. I'll be honest. Back when they were 1-5, I kind of was actually at an opinion of, yeah, maybe you should go ahead and bench that guy, go ahead and tank it out. Sean Payton clearly doesn't like Russ, so I thought maybe it was time to move on. But somehow the Broncos went from getting beat down, giving up 70 points, to actually being in the playoff race. Now, realistically, they're probably not going to make it, and they damn well not going to make it out of Jarrett Stidham's start. Jarrett Stidham is a career 10-12, career record, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That ain't the best move for the team. I get the whole thing because they're trying to do this for the money ramifications, but it just ain't right for the rest of the players to go out there to take a lesser quarterback to give them less of a chance to win. They still did have a shot at making the playoffs. Like I said, they probably weren't because they were going to need some help. But when you look at it, their next two opponents were going to be the Chargers and the Raiders. Those are two very winnable games for Russ. I don't trust Stidham to go out there and win it. And if I was on the team, I'd be like, damn, so y'all basically just giving up on this season. I get y'all trying to go out there for the future. They're trying to protect yourself, but you already didn't protect yourself when you gave that crazy contract. Because right now they're talking something of 60, 70, 80 million type dollar in dead cap space. Either way, you're fucked. So you may as well go for it. You're probably going to end up with the 14th or 15th draft pick. So it's not like you're going to be high enough to go up here and get, let's say, Caleb Williams or Drake May. They already traded the second round draft pick to go get Sean Payton. So I don't know how much draft capital they're going to use trying to go up to get a quarterback, and they won't have the cap space to replace one. Denver's in a really fucked position right now.
Let's get right into our first ever Cinco Squad award show. We have 5 categories, and those categories are Sports Figure of the Year, Team of the Year, Oh My God Moment of the Year, Heartbreak of the Year, and then Sports Moment of the Year. So we're going to go through each category. I'll name ours and why. And, of course, let us know in the comments who you think it is. If you think we're right, let us know why. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Sports Figure of the Year.
Okay.
Going to throw it over to Mike. Mike, who is your Sports Figure of the Year?
So I think there's a lot of options here. I think there's a lot of options that I went over in my head and was kind of rolling over throughout the day leading up to this. But I have to stay home with my favorite sport, and I have to stay with somebody that accomplished a lot this year, despite not winning a championship. So my Sports Figure of the Year is Mr. Shohei Ohtani, the newest LA Dodger Shohei Ohtani. And I'll tell you why. I understand. He might not have won a title, and he didn't go to the playoffs, and that's a big reason why I think he left the Angels. But he did leave the Angels for the bright lights of Hollywood side of LA with the LA Dodgers for a $700 million contract. This man is the highest paid athlete ever. Granted, deferred, though the contract may be. He's the highest paid athlete ever. That deserves some recognition. Not only that, he's also coming off an AL MVP. So considered the best player, one of the 2 best players in his sport award-wise, considered on paper and by consensus, the best player in his sport as it stands today, and the highest paid player in the history of sports, I feel like it has to be Shohei Ohtani, at least to me. Trey, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm going with somebody who actually is not even actively playing a sport at this moment. And that person would be Pat McAfee. I think he is the sports figure of the year.
Okay.
Win or loss, whether you like him or hate him, he's talked about. Whether it's been game day, 50% of people love him, 50% of people hate him. You turn to ESPN, half of people are like, oh, this is my show, half people hate him. But the landscape of sports broadcasting, since that dude has really came on the scene, has changed. So to me, he has been one of the most at the center sports figures, whether it's been these Aaron Rodgers interviews, he's getting J.J. Watt on. I mean, he's getting, if somebody has something that goes viral, like the Chargers had that crazy fan, you know who's on the next day? She's on his show. When something happens, where do everybody immediately go? Remember years ago, it used to be Mike and Mike, and that's where you went in the morning. Now it's became, if I need to get a story off, if I need to do an interview, if I need to, express something in sports, you go there. I mean, we got Kelsey and Rogers up here beefing over vaccines on the show. Like anything that's going through sports is going through that guy right now. And I would say I respect what they're doing up there. I like his cast. I like his bunch. I like McAfee. I know half people in the comments are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? And half y'all are going to agree with me. And that's why he's a sport. Because what is better in sports than a debate? And that is what he causes, is the debate. Jay, who's your sports figure?
Well, honorable mention to me. I just got the honorable mention here because the sport doesn't get too much notoriety globally, and it should get more, even though it's obviously growing in popularity. And that's Formula One, and that's Max Verstappen. The guy didn't just win this year. He absolutely dominated the competition. He's 26 years old. He wins his third world championship. He won a record 19 of the 22 races. He led the most laps ever in a single season, and he set a new mark for the largest point gap ever between first and second. So you're talking about a guy that's not just winning. He is claiming his stake on good luck beating me for the next 3, 4, 5 years. When you do something like that in any given season in itself, I think you stamp yourself as one of the greatest of all time automatically. And obviously, I just said he won his third at 26, so he has a long career ahead. But I mean, you guys know, one of us had to do it, right? Mr. LeBron Raymond James. I mean, how do we not mention the guy that was in the limelight for most of the year? We are tracking when he's going to break that record. Lakers look like they're not even going to make a run in the playoffs. They're playing crap basketball. Gets his team back in the mix of things. They make a deep run all the way to the conference finals where they met up with Mr. Jokic and the juggernaut of Denver, who we knew was the best team in basketball at that point. But at least he gave his team a chance, for us at least, to see the most coveted of all rivalries in basketball, and that could have been a Lakers-Celtics finals, and maybe that would have been the one for him. It could have been a ride-off into the sun moment. Who knows if he would have retired if he won that one. But I got to give much love to the king, LeBron James, for setting the all-time scoring record all-time in the NBA and doing it with a lot of style and class as usual. And Jesus, is the man going to slow down? I mean, he's on another tear this season. So who knows where that point mark is going to be by the time he's done. And I really can say right now, we can say another person like him may come along in 50 years. I don't think so. I really don't think we don't see a player like this ever again. There'll be somebody who has, the skills of this player and that player, but LeBron's a one of a type unicorn. And it's been a fun ride and well done. You deserve Man of the Year, Sports Person of the Year, Sports Figure of the Year award if they have one. John?
Yeah, so I was between two people, and I'm going to go with the one that I thought the most, and that would be Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Caitlin Clark transcended women's basketball. I know Angel Reese kind of was on the same pillar, but I believe Caitlin Clark, with her play, she was constantly in the limelight. She kind of came out like Steph Curry did. She had her Steph Curry moment in the NCAA tournament where she hit like 60 points or some shit like that. She was just going off in the NCAA tournament. I mean, looking at the 6 games, she averaged 36 minutes a game, 31 points per game, 48 from the field, 58 from the, inside the arc, 42 from outside the arc, and then 88% from the line. She was just nonstop, and she has not stopped. She continues to go out there. She can ball. I think she can ball against some of the dudes out there, right? So she has just been transcending women's basketball, giving hope that, someone that's – I don't think she's that tall. I think she's like 5'10", 5'11". She's not that tall of a basketball player, but she's going out there, and she's gritty. She's tough. So she is the sports figure of the year because she was talked about nonstop about her little swagginess in the NCAA tournament. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. She is my sports figure of the year. And then I think all of us, would say is Dick Vitale as well. I just wanted to throw that out there as well. Dick Vitale, just because of who he was in fighting cancer. Fighting cancer, and then also helping to fight cancer for other people. So,
yes.
All right. So, moving on to Team of the Year. There's a lot of teams out there, a lot of people we could have won with. Let's throw it over to TreyDay. Trey, who is your Team of the Year?
Speaking of Caitlin Clark, let's pick where we left off at. My Team of the Year would be the LSU women's basketball team. Now, we are talking about the calendar year of 2023. So, in the calendar year of 2023, from January 1st until basically where we are at right now, the LSU women's basketball team has went 35-3 and also won the national championship and also stopped what probably is the most dominant player in women's basketball history. I know some people were like, hey, they lost to Colorado and that was a big upset. They've been balling since then. Like, people were like rain on the parade, and ever since then they've been winning. With the teams they lost to in 2023 with Colorado, which was an upset, they lost to Tennessee, which wasn't the Tennessee of the past, but still was a pretty strong team. They lost to South Carolina, who have been basically the most dominant team in women's college basketball. So when you do that, and then to kind of piggyback off what John had as the sports figure of the year, saying it was Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying Angel Reese is, but I'm saying as a team, when they're having that type of fun, where it was causing this type of conversation we don't get around women's basketball. You can go back to the days of UConn. We didn't talk about UConn women's basketball like this. We didn't talk about Tennessee women's basketball. Hate it or love it, that's what they were. Some people looked at them as the heel for wrestling terms. Some people looked at them as the heroes, but they were good for women's college basketball. So LSU women's college basketball, to me, did more for their sport as a team, hate them or love them, than any other team did this year. So they are my 2023 Team of the Year. Mike, it's not the New York Yankees, but who you got?
Unfortunately, no, you're right. It is not the New York Yankees.
Disappointment of the year, though.
Disappointment of the year, yeah. If we were giving the disappointment of the year, geez, they are at least up there, if not locked in. First of all, Trey, thank you for bringing in the wrestling term heel. I appreciate that. It's a good little nod. I appreciate that. So we're going to stay in basketball. We're going to go to pros. And that is, my Team of the Year is the Denver Nuggets. Because you got to shout out the team winning their first ever NBA title, their first ever title. They never won an ABA title either. So congrats to Jokic, to Jamal Murray, to Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, all those guys coming together, being that team that, like, in the playoffs, everybody was talking, they're good, but someone's going to beat them. Whether it's this, the upstart Grizzlies or the, seasoned Lakers or the Warriors dynasty. And the Nuggets are pretty much like, nah, we're just going to win. Jokic especially was like, I'm just here to do a job and I'm going to do it well.
They were dominant.
They were just, it's having the guy that the only reason he probably didn't win the MVP was because he had already won the MVP. So they wanted to, and Embiid deserved it. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, they're not going to give it to Jokic. We talked about it when they were giving the MVP out. They're like, it's not going to be Jokic simply because they're not going to give it to him again. And, they have a good team, and they're proving it this year. They're proving that it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just one run. This is a dominant team that can win. So, shout out to the Denver Nuggets. John, what do you got?
My Team of the Year is the UConn men's basketball team. They won the national title and won it convincingly. There was no team stopping this team. Let me just read you off some scores throughout the NCAA tournament. Beat Iona 87-63. St. Mary's, who was a dominant St. Mary's team, 70-55. Arkansas, great Arkansas team, 88-65. Gonzaga, 82-54. Miami, 72-59. And then in the championship game, they dominated San Diego State the entire game, 76-59. They were just unbelievably talented. Danny Hurley had gotten his boys. I remember him from covering him at Bonaventure when he played, when those Rhode Island teams were tough, gritty. Now he had a tough, gritty team, and they were full of 5-star and transfer 5-star recruits. So it was no shock to me to see him win a national title so soon at UConn, because of the coach he is. He's got the energy. So shout out to UConn. They are my team of the year. Grandpa Jay, wrap us up.
Well, I'm going to go across the pond here, and it's Manchester City Football Club for me. Arguably the greatest manager of all time, Pep Guardiola, finally wins the Champions League with Manchester City. Pretty convincing win over Inter Milan in those finals. And then thanks to Arsenal somehow blowing an 8-point lead with a month to go, and nobody really does that, but somebody's going to do it. It might be those young gunners. They blow their 8-point lead. They win the Prem. And then, of course, the FA Cup finale against Manchester United. And they once again, dominant performance. And Haaland, come on, man. This guy is such a freaking madman. He comes into the Prem first year ever and decides, you know what? Forget who was there before me. I'm just going to break the single season record for most goals scored. There's 38 games played. He scored 36. So you're pretty much scoring a goal a game. That's ridiculous over a course of one season. He's also become the fastest player to 50 goals in the Prem. So Man City ain't going anywhere, even though it looks like they're having a downer year. Look out for them to win their 4th Premiership title in a row this year. But it kind of started in 2022, but they had to finish the job in 2023. So congrats to Man City on a treble. It is not easy to do that because European football at the Champions League level, it is a rough tournament to get through. After holding position in your league as well and trying to win the FA Cup, you're playing a lot of football all the time. So Pep, you did your thing finally. To me, you've cemented yourself as the greatest manager of all time. Well done, Manchester City Football Club.
Well, let's keep it rolling as we go on from team of the year to oh my God moment of the year. Mm-hmm. Let's take it away. I'll start this one. So my oh my God moment of the year, and I think everybody can say this, was Farley Dickinson beating Purdue, the 16 seed beating Purdue. We had to wait 33 years for a 16 seed to knock off a 1 seed. If you remember UMBC beating Virginia in 2018. Mm-hmm. Now it only took 5 years for us to see another one. So Farley Dickinson, as Mike and I back in college saw that name, and we continually said Farley Dickinson with a British accent. Felt like it should be across the pond with Grandpa Jay's Manchester United. But I was so happy to see them win that game. They absolutely played perfect basketball, and that's what you needed to be Purdue. And it was like, holy shit, Purdue got knocked off. Because all of us were thinking Purdue's going to run the table like UConn. They were going to meet UConn in the national title game, and this is going to be an epic showdown. So hats off to Farley Dickinson. You got our oh my God moment of the year. Mikey Mike, take it away with yours.
So I feel that this is the perfect time for me to step out of the conventional sports world and go to my unconventional sport, which is the world of professional wrestling. Because this year we saw a moment in pro wrestling that I don't think any fan or casual fan of the sport ever thought we'd see. Vince McMahon sold the company. The McMahon family no longer owns WWE. It's now owned by a conglomerate called Endeavor, which also owns UFC, for those that aren't aware. So that was my oh my God moment of the year. Oh my God, Vince actually sold the company. For the one thing wrestling fans, I can tell you, never, ever wouldn't have ever bet their lives on that the McMahon family would not own World Wrestling Entertainment. So that was by far an oh my God moment for me.
Was his son not managing it well? Was that a decision that he felt like it was?
Shane, okay, so context is that Shane has always been kind of in and out of the company. He actually has always seemed to enjoy more being a wrestler than being a wrestling owner or executive.
Company owner.
Yeah. And
CEO.
Money, sponsors, there's a whole lot that went into it, but money, sponsors, Vince being out of touch with the product, a lot of people calling for him to sell the company, and they got, as they say in The Godfather, got an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yes, for sure.
I want to say it was a few $1 billion. But yeah, so that's my oh my God moment of the year. Grandpa Jay, what do you think?
Well, with great moments comes great preparation. And this is a show where some people are going to be like, bro, how are you actually saying these things about these teams you absolutely hate? But I'm about to go down to the swamp and give Ricky Pearsall my OMG. Oh my God, did he really do that moment of the year? So the backdrop to that is the kid actually was going through his routine where he would catch 100 balls in a row. And that was before or after practice, preparing for this season. Well, what does the kid do against Charlotte? Quarterback puts the ball about 7 feet too far to his left and about maybe 1.5 feet too high. And you're thinking there's no way this kid's going to go up and get it. The kid jumps up in a jump man split position and grabs the ball, leaning in the opposite direction with his hand going the way it shouldn't be going to get. Like nothing about the catch made sense. But the kid made and what looked like one of the most athletic plays I've ever seen on a football field. And big up to this kid because the preparation was there. It wasn't a fluke play. This kid has been making sure he's been training his hands for a moment like this. And his moment came, and boy, did he shine on that stage because he had all 90,000 Florida fans feeling like that catch alone should give us a shot to play in the SEC championship game. Come on, man. That is the OMG moment of the year for me. TreyDay.
First Monday Night Football game of the year. Everybody's all excited, and boom, the Jet season is over like that. We went through the entire last 2022, all of 2023 early saying, where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? Is he going to get traded to the Jets today? He's going to get traded to the Jets today. Hard Knock does the Jets. And we are literally done. Like, I didn't even see it live because I'm driving home from work, and I'm like, I'll make it home by the second drive. I'm driving. I look at my phone, and all I see is, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? What's happening? I can't believe this shit. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Could nothing that crazy have happened. And then I get home and the stadium is fucking just looks like a fucking funeral's happened. Like, yeah, we'll never know what the Jets season could have been, but we damn well didn't expect that. In the NFL, put the Jets on national TV like 17 times this year because that was the cash cow. So yeah, oh my God, was Aaron Rodgers just not actually having the season.
He didn't even have a court. He didn't even have a minute.
He never dropped.
Right.
What? It was 4 plays, right?
And not the whole lot. It felt like the country air got blown.
Oh yeah, no,
like everybody. It was like, what is going on? Like
all of professional football went
Who's
silent.
writing this script? The script writer. This wasn't it.
Did you see the footage of Greeny in his house where they had cameras in his house?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God. Oh, this can't be happening. Like he was freaking out.
All right, fellas, let's keep it rolling with we got 2 more categories to go. Let's keep it rolling with our heartbreak of the year. A lot of heartbreak all year long. TreyDay, keep it rolling with your heartbreak of the year.
Is he going to pick the obvious?
Yeah, obvious. January 1st, 12 o'clock on the dot. Our New Year's party went silent. Nobody drank. I had champagne poured, and we all just sat there and just stared at each other. Half the people in the house didn't even watch football, but they knew something was wrong. As the Ohio State Buckeyes, the field goal just didn't go. The season was over. C.J. Stroud played the game of his life. In my opinion, we would have won the national championship. I assume we beat TCU the next week if we go. And yeah, it is what it is. But that was a heartbreak of the year. That was one of the heartbreaks of all time for me as a fan because it ruined New Year's Eve. To be honest with you, I don't think they ever should have the college football playoff on New Year's Eve because they're always going to ruin somebody's New Year's Eve. I'm damn well happy this year they're not playing on New Year's Eve. Just like this year, I am looking forward to New Year's Eve. I'm just going to get drunk, pour my Hennessy up, and enjoy it because that shit last year was some bullshit. So, heartbreak of the year. Mike, what's your heartbreak?
Well, contrary to popular belief, I'm not going to pick the entire Yankee season.
Should.
I should, but I'm not going to. I am going to say baseball, though. 2 dominant franchises in the National League that are built to win in the playoffs. Both control their own destinies. Some hiccups along the way, but they're both meant to face each other in the NLCS. They win a combined 1 game in the NLDS. I'm talking, of course, the LA Dodgers and Atlanta Braves win a combined 1 game in the NLDS, and we suddenly see the upstart Phillies and Diamondbacks in the NLCS, which as those teams fans was awesome. It was awesome to see those teams. But I felt from a distance the Dodgers and Braves fans go silent and depressed as that they just watched their team, both of their teams, be absolutely dismantled in the NLDS, as if they had barely snuck into the playoffs and hadn't been two of the best teams in the NL the past decade. So yeah, that's my heartbreak of the year, is just the utter devastation to those two franchises. John?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of mine, and I had, but I have to go with the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and my Michigan Wolverines have just defeated Trey's Ohio State, and we're going to Auburn and Alabama. And I said, I'm not watching this game. This game's going to be a blowout. Then all of a sudden I get a text saying, go watch the Auburn-Alabama game. Auburn's about to pull the upset. And Jalen Milroe takes his time in the pocket. He had his turkey dinner. He watched some TV because Auburn decided to go rush three guys, and he throws a dart into the corner of the end zone and breaks Auburn's heart. And the only game that mattered to them all year, because Auburn was terrible, and that game could have solidified Florida State being in the college football playoff right now. So I know Florida State probably sent Auburn some dirty names.
Or Georgia, right? One of the two.
One of the two.
Playing Georgia.
Right, one of the two. Yeah, one of the two. So that is my heartbreak of the year. I know it came all the way at the end of the year, but man, I felt that. And then obviously honorable mention is me in the Super Bowl. If we're gonna go personal,
yeah,
I took the jersey off, went to bed. So, Grandpa Jay, wrap us up with this.
Yeah, Trey, mine's about 2 weeks after yours. I kind of felt it coming. The Bucs season was kind of just trickling off the edge of the cliff, and then to sit down and even have to entertain myself to know what was about to happen, but to see the Cowgirls go up 24-0 at some point in that game, and we're down early quick, and they're dominating every facet of the game, and you're seeing Brady just fade away into the sunset like, this can't be happening. This is not how he goes out. It wasn't supposed to end like this. Can somebody make a play? Can somebody do something? Can this be like the Rams a couple seasons ago where they have that miraculous comeback? Can we force? No, there's another turnover. Oh, there's another 3 and out. It was one of the more abysmal games I've seen a great player have to check out of and kind of just tell himself, this is it for me. And it was heartbreaking to see that happen. More him than the team, because the Bucs have shit the bed many a times in the playoffs in that scenario. And that was one of the worst games to sit through, more as a fan of what Brady had done for the franchise over the last 2 years, to see it just come all crashing, 3 years, to see it all come crashing down like that.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah,
that was tough to see.
Anybody but Dallas.
I was praying you guys would beat them.
Oh.
But let's take it home with our fifth and final sports moment of the year. This is where we decide what moment we thought was the best out of all year. And it doesn't matter what it is. Grandpa Jay, since you ended it, I'll let you start this one.
You guys know where I'm going. This is post-match U.S. Open, post-match interview and celebration. And my man, the Joker, Novak Djokovic, has the underneath shirt prepared to lift it up and pay tribute to none other than Kobe Bryant. John sent me something today, made me cry again. Every time I see something about Kobe, I get really emotional. And that one really got my emotions on edge there. And it was so touching for me to see Novak take that moment, which is his moment of becoming the greatest of all time, and giving Kobe his credit to say, hey, everybody, nobody does this alone. And if you really want to know why I end up being the man I am right now and why I'm the greatest tennis player of all time, it's because I had this guy at my side as a mentor and one of my best friends, and I got to pay tribute to him right now. And I'm going to make this about him and his family. Such a touch of class. That to me was my favorite moment of the entire year in sports. John?
You know I have to go with it. Give me that tush push, 90% tush push. That's my moment of the year, because everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to ban it. And everyone wants to ban people pushing our quarterback across the line.
Yeah, pushing for the tuition.
More pushing for the tuition, exactly. So I love that. I even got a song. I was like, every time we get to, I always text Mike on Monday. When it got to 4th and 1, I was like, tush, push, tush, push, tush, push.
I don't like the tush push song. That's when he's playing the Giants.
92% of the time it works, and teams have been trying it all year and have been failing. And of course, it's going to be banned, and I can't wait for it to be banned because I'm so sick and tired of defending it every single time. Because it's not like Brady wasn't carried across the line all his years in football.
Right.
So give it a tush push for sports moment of the year
I'm
because
gonna send that song to DJ Khaled for you.
Yeah.
Your boy.
DJ Khaled.
What everybody forgets is your quarterback needs to squat 600 pounds for it to work 92% of the time. So
Exactly. And then they're showing how Barkley he squats 600. I'm like, he's supposed to. Our quarterback's not supposed to. He was doing it with ease too. I mean, you saw it in the highlight. I was like, dang. Yeah. So, Mike, as I texted you on Monday about that, throw it over to you for your sports moment of the year.
Well, it's certainly not the Dewey Boys.
Are you sure?
I've never been more sure about anything in my life. No, it's fine. So I'm going to take us back to March. And the moment is kind of a collective one in the electricity of the Final Four with regards to the fact that the lower seeds were running wild through the tournament. And I think UConn was the highest seed left in the Final Four, and they were number 4. Number 4, but yeah, they were them at 4 and like 2 number 5s, and then FAU as the Owls fly on at number 9. But that was really cool to me, seeing these underrated lower seeded teams. Yeah, they're higher as compared to like 16 seeds, but not considered major contenders, and all 4 of them fought their way through the tournament. So that was my favorite moment, was just the energy and electricity of that Final Four, where it's like there's not despite the fact that you, as John took us through before, if you look at UConn's games, they were, by far the team that was running through and dominating. But even so, there's not really like a traditional blue blood from recent memory left. There's no UNC, there's no Duke, there's no Kansas, there's no Kentucky. Gonzaga's out. Like I said, Purdue's out. Like everybody, it's like suddenly you're looking around like, man, we haven't seen some of these teams here in a while, and some of them ever. So that was really cool for me to see that, and see, as we've talked about all year, the word of the year is parity. The parity in college basketball was so exciting to watch.
A big win for those FAU Owls. Oh,
Really
the biggest of the program. Look who is at number 7 right now.
96-95.
One of the best games I've seen.
TreyDay, take us away with your sports moment of the year and wrap us up on our categories.
So for me, the sports moment of the year, it was LeBron breaking Kareem's record. To watch that moment after watching LeBron's entire career was just, I literally got chills watching Kareem come out, just because that's one of my favorite sports figures, just as a person, and what he means to basketball, what he's meant to society, what he's just meant to culture. And then watching LeBron basically take that torch from him, watching him do the whole kind of photo op thing after. Like, for me, I guess background is, of course, I am a Lakers fan first off. I'm a Cavs fan second. I grew up between LA and Cleveland, going back and forth, growing up all my life. So those are my 2 favorite teams. So I've literally watched something crazy like 85-90% LeBron James games, all the way back to when LeBron was at St. Vincent St. Mary, watching him back then. So to watch all of that go, and in our wildest imagination, you're like, if this dude can go out there, maybe get a championship or MVP or 2, then that lives to the hype. But to see him go out and get the scoring record, which nobody thought he would get, and him not even, he says himself all the time, he's not a score first person. So if that's not even his first thing in his DNA, but I remember right after it happened, they immediately cut to some Nike commercial, and I got chills, watching Nike commercials show the whole path. And I know for anybody who if you are, whether you like LeBron, now if you're a basketball fan and you really are a fan of the game, and you've watched that growth, it's still just something amazing to watch somebody just grow, literally from that to become immortal, essentially. So for me, that's a moment of 2023 I won't forget. That's a moment in NBA history I'll never forget and always remember that night.
And I think the biggest thing is, people don't look at, that's a fucking hard record to break.
Yeah, I mean,
they shit on LeBron, they shit on him, whatever it may be you want to shit on him about. That's hard. And to do it consistently over 20 years, man, you can't not give the guy props. And then I think he's top 5 in rebounds, top 5 in assists, top 5 in free throw percentage or not free throw percentage, maybe field goal percentage or whatever.
His
But-
name
but-
appears
A lot
in
of
a lot
offensive
of
But
times,
he's
like,
top 5 in
He's
a lot of
basically
other
top five
categories.
Still
Yeah.
working.
So
Right.
Look, the guy at 25-5 is a rookie. And here's what I think people need to start doing again to put some respect on the man's name. Anytime someone brings up the point about let's debate best ever or is it, top 3 or there's it's LeBron and MJ. If you're going to have a debate, it's the two of them and look at both of their rookie tapes. And LeBron's one it'll kind of make you want to make that decision right there because he was an 18-year-old playing like a 28-year-old man. Like right away, it was just, I'm dominating the court. And a lot of people said he can come in his junior year and could have done the same thing off his junior year, not even playing his senior year in high school, which is credit to the man for not only living up to the hype, because I think that's the hardest part. The hardest part is living up to the hype and the expectations that the guy donned every cover, especially Sports Illustrated. He's coming in with a damn crown on his head. Can you imagine the targets on his back? And that's when the NBA let hard fouls be. So people were trying to kill this mofo as a rookie, and they did. They fouled him hard, and he played like a man.
when they could catch him. Because he was out in front of a lot of the guys. So
many
those are our
wrong side of the rim. It's like, oh my God, don't hit the rim with your head, son.
Well, those are our Cinco Squad inaugural awards. Let us know what you think for each category. See what we think. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, let us know who yours is.
Really, Pistons? 27 consecutive games. You're going to set the NBA record for most consecutive losses after starting 2-1. I'm not upset for you. I'm upset for me, to be honest, because I said near the beginning of the season that this was your year to step up, and you're making me look like a fool. Really? Like, you could go 500 and be like, oh, look, they're at least better. I could at least cover my ass and say that they got better, they improved, they stepped up, they had some young guys. No, you're just absolutely awful. And now I look like an idiot, and I've already admitted on here that I'm the one that watches the NBA the least. So now no one's ever going to believe anything I say about the NBA, and it's all your fault.
Let's get to our signature, of course, in
Stump
the Squad.
All right, boys and girls, and all you crazy people out there, it's our favorite time in the show. It is Stump the Squad. This is when we ask each other a series of questions to see who we can stump. If you get it right, you get +2. If you get it wrong, you get -2. We know it all, so sometimes we just mess with you guys to make you feel like we don't. Hey, we got to keep it fun, right? But here's the deal. The person who has the most wins at show 100 gets crowned King of the Stump or King of the Stump the Squad. Whatever you guys want to phrase it at. I kind of like King of the Stump because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my crown on and win that Stump the Squad. 100th show is where we're going to do it. So you guys got to stay tuned up until then. But let's take it away, boys. Yeah, boy, it's getting closer and closer to that 100th episode. And will these gentlemen here be able to catch the one, the only leader of Stump the Squad right now? Who could it be? Oh,
Yeah. Come on, get on with it.
All right, so you guys, hey, I'll tell you what, I put a futures bet. Come on, Shay, put that down. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about a different crowd. You guys put a futures bet out there against me. It's +1,500 if I'm going to lose this or not. So if you want to go with the field, take the field. But if you want to take me, you're not going to win that much money right now because I'm the heavy favorite. But Mikey, I kind of have a feeling this week. I don't know why. Last week I saw you be a little burnt that you couldn't get that W. I'm feeling Mikey might end up taking it from us this week. So I'm going to let him start off just so he doesn't get an early jump on everybody.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So we talk about awards this week and the college football playoffs. So I decided to kind of meld the two. How many winners of the Ray Guy Award, which for those that don't know, the Ray Guy Award is college football punter of the year. How many winners of the Ray Guy Award for college football punter of the year are currently in the NFL? Is it 1, 2, 4, or 6?
2.
I was going 2.
Okay, so Jamie and Trey say 2. John says 4.
Oh, he stumped us. Look at that face.
This week I have successfully stumped Jamie and Trey.
Woo! Yeah.
Currently 4 punters.
Screw them all. Screw the other 2 mofos that won the award.
Exactly. So, because of this, I'm gonna put John up next to try to curb the momentum.
So mine is about the college football playoff in Alabama. Prior to this year, has made the college football playoff 7 out of the 9 times it's been active.
Mhm.
How many points in total in the semifinals, not the finals,
Right.
did they score total points?
There's 7 appearances.
Correct. 250, 224, 220, or 275?
224.
Yeah, 224.
That was my lean, but now I'm not going there.
250.
250, 224, 220, and 275.
220.
Okay. Mike?
Well, originally I was originally saying 224, but now I'm second guessing myself.
Dun, 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 dun,
250.
dun.
Mike says 250.
Should have stuck with it, Mikey.
Today I successfully stumped Mike and Trey. Jamie is right. It's 224.
I should have stuck with my gut.
You should
I was
have
going to go
stuck with your
224.
gut.
I'm like, I'm not
What
going
you got, bro?
So Jamie at 0, and then Trey at -4. Oh, and shout out to my lovely wife for the Yankees
Yes.
all-time great poster back there, and
Oh,
my mom for
pretty.
the plaque back there. The 2
Pretty.
plaques right here. Adding some new memorabilia every
You
week.
need to go. You need to get a wider angle on that
Wider
lens.
shot.
And I was just gonna get a 360 camera because I got memorabilia all over the place. So,
Yeah, just put it on the ceiling.
Mr. Victory, go ahead and take your rise.
All right, so we're gonna go on to the gridiron here, gentlemen, and I want you guys to tell me which quarterback has the most games in a single season with a rushing and a throwing touchdown. So it's games that they have both of those stats. How many games in a single season? Okay, so which quarterback has the most games in a single season with a rushing and throwing touchdown in a game throughout that season, right? So the total amount of games he's had it for. Is it Michael Vick? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it Josh Allen? Or is it Lamar Jackson?
Josh
How
Allen.
many did he have? Can you repeat the question?
Which one of these players has the most games in any single season where he had a throwing and rushing touchdown in a game?
So how many games have he had both?
So which one of these players, right, in a single season has the most games in a single season with at least one throwing and one rushing touchdown throughout that season? So how many games did he have at least one throwing and one rushing touchdown?
Jalen Hurts.
Michael Vick, Jalen
Josh
Hurts,
Allen.
Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Jalen Hurts.
Trey?
Josh Allen.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped John. Josh Allen this weekend just passed, became the first player to get to 11 games in a single season, and he might make that go up to 12 and 13 by the time the season's over with a rushing and a scoring touchdown. Homeboy's up to 40 total touchdowns this season, and nobody realizes that he's kind of inching his way up there.
Yeah, no, same with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts at 35 and 18. This is the most I've seen.
He set the most for most rushing touchdowns, right?
Most rushing touchdowns this year, and for I feel bad for DeAndre Swift, man. That motherfucker gets to the one. That's what Kelsey said on his pocket. He's like, I keep telling DeAndre to go down into 3 or 4 so he can get a rushing touch. If you think about it, Jalen's most of his rushing touchdowns have been the touch push at the one. DeAndre Swift would have like 15 or 16 touchdowns. Right
Yeah.
now. Every time I've had him on my fantasy, I'm like, God damn it, 'cause I know it's coming. So
close.
So Trey, you're up, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, so we have our scores at a 3-way tie for 0, and TreyDay at -2. So TreyDay needs you need to stump the squad.
Yeah.
And you do it.
Okay, so we're gonna take this to softball.
Softball.
Yeah, we don't go.
First of all, you're disqualified. Sorry, can't ask the question. Let's go to the tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker. I have the
It
tiebreaker.
also involves softball. If I do lose this, I already have a tiebreaker prep.
I have a tiebreaker, and I'll probably still get it wrong.
Okay, so we talk about 2023. We talk about domination. In 2023, Oklahoma softball has won their 3rd straight title They broke the record for most consecutive wins. What college previously held that record for most consecutive wins? UCLA, Florida State, Texas, or Arizona?
Arizona.
Jay's going Arizona.
It's between UCLA and Arizona. I'm going to go UCLA.
John's going UCLA.
See, we always talk about how good Pac-12 softball is.
I know.
But I have a feeling. It's just one of those occasions where Mike gets that weird feeling where that's too obvious and you'd think it's a Pac-12 team, but it's not. I'm going to go with my gut like I didn't earlier. I'm going to say Florida State.
Overthinking.
Okay, so we got Florida State for Mike. We got UCLA for John.
Yep.
And we got
Arizona.
Arizona for Jamie.
There may be a winner.
Well, I only have one winner here. It ain't me. So Texas
Someone got it
is
right.
not the answer.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this week's winner is not John. You're eliminated. Jamie is not eliminated.
What?
Jamie is the winner. It is
Put
Arizona.
the crown on, ladies and
That was
gentlemen.
a terrible way to give away the answer. That was
This
terrible.
man.
I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, I got
I know,
confused.
I was egging
I
you
got
on.
confused.
Baby.
I thought he said Jamie was eliminated. I got real excited for a second.
Me too. I was like,
Nope.
I was like,
I
I
knew. I knew it was Arizona.
I wouldn't care.
I said it so equivocally. I thought you guys are going to jump on board. Like I
Well,
knew the answer. to
who's
that.
second? Didn't UCLA have a run? I knew
Well,
Arizona was good.
I said
Texas
the
had a run for a while.
I said the
FSU had
last
2
team to
fluke
win.
seasons,
Last
but not a
team, I
run.
got you.
It was the last team, so yeah.
Damn,
Everybody
man,
up there, all 4 of them have had runs. All 4 of them at some point.
I
in the
just
consecutive streak list.
John,
So-
you are officially eliminated, buddy.
No, I'm not.
How?
Because I can still win 8 in a row and
he can tie you now. He's
Oh,
I
okay.
can tie you. I'm not eliminated.
I thought you were eliminated. Okay, you can.
So this week's winner
He has
is
to win
Grandpa
every-
Jay with his 10th victory. TreyDay with 5, Mike with 3, and me with 2.
I thought I had 10 already. Isn't that 11?
No, you had
Yeah,
9.
9 last week. You were right in front of me when I changed the answers
I'm
last
talking
week.
about Willis.
So Grandpa Jay's our winner, fortunately. You're not getting a ring.
I want a crown, bro. A ring. I'm
Well,
gonna wear that. I'm gonna tilt it sideways for one show. I'm gonna wear that.
damn it,
Yeah.
bro.
The back for one show. I'm gonna put it on every damn time we play Stump the Squad. You
So
know it.
excited.
But
I
25
was
episodes,
happy
you don't
because
have
he
to
said
do that.
John's eliminated, and I thought he said Jamie's eliminated.
Yeah,
I was
so
happy
did I.
that
I'm like-
Mike was one.
Mhm.
At this point, I
Like,
thought
what?
Mike won, and I was like, damn it.
Nope.
From the time you started asking the question, I'm like, please make them not want to choose the same answer as me.
I had a tiebreak too. All right, fellas. So Grandpa Jay, you're one game away from eliminating me, and then if I do end up going on a streak, which it won't happen, we have to figure out a way to do a tiebreaker. So we're getting closer, guys. We're on episode 91. Got 9 episodes left. Damn, we're almost at 100. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's
nuts.
crazy to think. So we got a lot of good football on this weekend, a lot of good matchups. The NFL is such a toss-up right now, guys, for a lot of divisions like the NFC South, the AFC West. I would say the NFC East, but it's between 2 teams. You know, we got a lot of good teams still playing. Like TreyDay alluded to in his rant, not really sure what the Broncos are doing other than tanking their season, which doesn't make any sense. I thought you play to win the game.
Herm Edwards.
So, so any final thoughts before we head into the weekend?
Yeah, nobody want to play the Rams and Bills, so good luck.
All right. And we're getting closer to that Rams and Lions first round.
Unless the
Man,
Lions
want
beat
it so
Dallas
bad.
this week. We'll see.
oh my God, that would be so awesome
Mhm.
for the Rams.
Good.
Matthew Stafford has to go back to Detroit.
Good luck to Michigan. Good luck to Washington. Good luck to Texas.
Fucking accept-
No, not good luck to them. No. For what they did to my Irish years ago.
Or
they-
tight hold.
No.
We mean multiple times over the last 20 years.
I don't care about 20 years. I just care about the one national championship. Yeah, they can go to hell.
Well, you know, you had your linebacker dating Mrs. Invincible.
Nothing.
Hey, whatever
That
it takes
needs
to
to
get
be.
inspiration.
He got into a
And-
fight with her the night before the game.
I know. I know.
Bro,
She,
sex,
it's
dog.
like she wasn't even. She acted like she wasn't even there, just ignoring him. I do feel bad for Anti-Teo. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, look, you know, guys, like we always say, big drinking weekend. Please be smart. Call
Yes,
yourself
please,
a Lyft.
yes.
Call yourself an Uber. Do
Or just
not
stay
make
home.
the choice to put those keys in the ignition or press that button. Take your ass home and leave your car where it is so you can wake up in the morning without feeling somebody tickling your booty hole.
Always good.
Jamie, Jamie, you seem to be speaking by experience.
Zero experience.
Not the $10,000 fine. That is what you have to wear.
Yeah, who wants to start that 2024?
Nobody ever bail me, but I
Do
bail
not
some of
start
my
the
homies.
2024 off that way.
Oh, this show's going off the rails. Yes, please. Or just stay home, host a party, and have everyone sleep on the floor drunk.
Yes.
Who cares? I mean, that's probably I'll probably be doing on New Year's Eve.
Sleepover.
Fellas, congratulations on this year. We've done amazing things. We have a lot in store for 2024. Very excited. I'm going to be heading to the Florida Everblades to end the year, a ECHL hockey team for the Florida Panthers. Looking forward to that opportunity. And then, Jamie, didn't let you know, but Florida Gators are allowing us to come to the game, not against Kentucky, not against Kentucky, because they sold out with their media section. But so we have a lot of opportunities, a lot of things going on. We're gonna have a lot more guests on the show. Really thankful for you guys this year.
Yes,
we've done a lot of great things, and we'll see you here next year on episode 92. See you guys next week. Cinco Squad out.
Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year.